that's the negatives out of the way. Let's talk about the positives, because Alex Pereira, unbelievable, just unbelievable. So Khalil Rountree certainly won the first 2 rounds, right?
Yeah.
He won the first 2 rounds, and I even tweeted because I was surprised, and it was entertaining and it was exciting because Khalil was on the outside, dashing in, going from 0 to 100, swinging, landing shots at the start, just ever so slightly out of range. Pereira would back up, get just out of the way, but he was starting to find the mark. He was starting to find the rhythm. He was starting to find the chin. You know, maybe he dropped him, maybe it's because he was off balance, whatever.
I think he dropped him.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a case either way. Landed a head kick, landed some good shots. So he was up 2 rounds. The problem is that style exploding in so quick, that's hard to do. It's hard to sprint for 5 rounds. And the thing that really impressed me about Pereira is composure in there. He was never, like I was talking about this yesterday. When I was training, when I was doing my strength and conditioning circuits, my coach used to say to me, because I would go, whatever I was doing, he'd be like, Michael, relax your face. Just because physically you're going for it doesn't mean that mentally you've got to be all stressed out as well. Pereira was just calm the whole time. But in the mind of Khalil Rountree, he's in a panicked, furious state of mind, so that everything's in stress mode. You're redlining everything mentally, physically, all of it. So you're gonna get burned out. You can't continue like that. But on the flip side, Pereira, he took some shots. He was never rocked. He was never hurt. He was never troubled. Yeah, the liver kick certainly looked like it affected him. So I'm not being disrespectful to Khalil, because I thought he was fantastic in what he did. But then when Pereira started to turn on the gas and go for it, I mean, we saw some beautiful striking.
Well, you know what that feeling is when someone's going hard and you're having a tough time matching that intensity, because that's what I seen through the first 2 rounds. I seen Alex Pereira having a tough time matching the intensity and kind of insanity of Khalil Rountree. So he just had to stay calm and try to stay as safe as he could. But when you look across and this next round starts and you're moving around and you see them, you can see it in people's faces when they're starting to slow down, and things are getting more labored and the speed's not as hard to deal with anymore. And it almost gives you a burst of energy. Like, oh, I got you. You're tired.
Yeah. It's tired. A good feeling.
Yeah. You're tired and I'm not that tired. So you can kind of see that start to happen. And to be very honest, there was a lot of me those first 2 rounds that felt really good watching Khalil. At least it ain't just me.
hey, bro. So I was watching it with my wife. We just got back. She was exhausted. Oh, it was me. She'd fallen asleep. Callum was there. Yeah. And he actually says, Andy Smith is loving this.
Yes, he was. I was like, oh, thank God. Like, at least, like, it would have really hurt my heart if Pereira would have went out there and just dusted Khalil like around.
Smoked him beyond belief like he's nothing. You know what I mean?
But watching him like have some real serious success and land big on, you know how it is as a fighter, like you kind of sit back and go, she didn't land on me like that till the 3rd round. Like it was cool. It made me happy for Khalil. Like it was good because there was a lot of doubts. There was a lot of haters that said he wasn't going to hang at all. And so I was just happy for him that he was competitive and showed that like he can fight at that level. And I think he goes back to the drawing board and gets better. I think that some of it is it kind of reminds me of Hamzat a little bit. Actually, I had like some Hamzat comparisons where if he could have fought at the pace he fought at for the first 2 rounds or 2.5 rounds, if he could do that for 5, he's unstoppable. The problem is just like you said, you can't fight like that for 25 minutes. It's too much of an output at our size. Some of the smaller guys can fight at that pace. It's just not quite as impactful when they land. But Hamzat is kind of very similar. If you slow Khalil down a little bit, take a little bit of the heat off, is he as effective long term over the longevity of a 25-minute fight? Because he can do that for 3. He'll win a 3-round fight like that over almost anybody.
Well, I always use this comparison that you can't be a sprinter and a marathon runner. You're one or the other. There is people like I had really good cardio, but I wasn't the most explosive guy. You know what I mean? And you don't have that natural cardio ability. You just built a certain way, but then be able to run 100 meters dash in like a record time. You just don't, it just doesn't work like that. Khalil is clearly fast twitch muscle fiber. I mean, look at the physique on the guy.
Yeah, he's insane.
You know, it's unreal. The traps on that dude are mind blowing.
Yeah. But if you can fight like that for 25 minutes, there's not a whole lot of people are going to beat that guy. But he's tough to beat in 3 rounds when he's fighting like that. He's just, it's too much. And so towards the end of the 3rd round, you started to see, like, I think that last minute of the 3rd round is when Pereira realized, okay, I got him now. Now it's so weird though when you mentioned the calmness and composure of Pereira. It was almost like he knew from the 1st round, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna knock this guy out. I just don't know when. Like it was almost like it was just by looking at him, it gave me this feeling of like, oh, he's only got 10 minutes, so it's probably gonna happen soon.
Well, like you could see the self-assurance on his face. Yeah.
It was like it was just a foregone, you know, it was like this is how it's going to go.
The jab was unbelievable. You know, the speed of that jab. And then when he started to put it together, it was fantastic to watch the way he would slip and then rip, fast, powerful shots. Fair play to Khalil. He took a lot of damage. He showed a lot of heart, handled himself with class. I mean, he was boxed up to the max at the end of it.
He loses nothing here.
No,
his stock doesn't fall at all. Yeah.
He just took Pereira four rounds. You know,
that's the same Pereira that guy who was in crazy good shape and didn't look like he was tired even a little bit is the same guy that last time he fought in Salt Lake City gassed through a round and a half and still squeaked out a decision win.
Yeah. No,
watch absolutely. This is crazy. Look, there's this one shot just like this where his eyes roll back in his head. This is it. And he still throws a counter. Yeah.
He still threw a counter.
Threw a counter.
And that's what you got to respect, because when, you know, the tides have turned, you're on your last legs, right? You're about to hit the deck. You're exhausted. You're bust up. You can't see. You've got blood dripping down over your eyes. You're still taking shots, but you've still got the balls to like, you know what? And he landed a couple.
He did.
You know
he landed some big shots.
He landed some good shots as well. And you got to respect that, man, because 100%. It's so easy to go down because you've taken enough damage. You can fall down to your knees at any time. You can curl up in a ball and let the referee stop the fight. But he wasn't. He was still trying.
When there's no light at the end of the tunnel, there's no win. Like what we can all say, oh, you never know. He might land a shot. They know. Like they both already know. Like this is just a means to an end, and you're like Alex Pereira's looking at him like, "Come on, dude! Like you're just prolonging this. Like let's just get this over with." And
like, Khalil, cut the shit. Cut the shit. What are you doing?
Like, not yet.
He's like, really? You're gonna make me carry on doing this?
Right. But like, and when there's no light at the end of the tunnel, and you both know what's coming over that horizon pretty soon, and he still throws back like that, the balls on that guy.
Well, you know what they call that? They call that a fighter.
Yeah. Simple. So congrats to both of them.
Congrats to both of them. Well done to Alex Pereira. And I loved what he said afterwards, because we all know there's been talk of fighting Dricus, talk of going up to heavyweight. And he was like, no, I've got work to do in the light heavyweight division. And that's exactly what I wanted to hear, because we all know, and this is the only knock, and you've said it, I've said it, the only knock so far is that he hasn't got out against, and I know Jan Blachowicz is a black belt in BJJ and had some success in the takedowns, but like a real heavy wrestler, you know, like a Magomed Ankalaev. And if he sticks at light heavyweight...
I got to push you back on this one a little bit, because I did say the same thing. And then I was doing a little bit of research and digging into this Rakic-Ankalaev fight. And other than Blachowicz, there's not a shit ton of takedowns that Magomed Ankalaev actually shoots. He's ended up on top. He's ended up on top a couple times.
Well, he said he's not going to shoot as well. But
he doesn't even call himself a wrestler. He says he's a striker.
Yeah, but he has got a wrestling pedigree.
He can wrestle. I'm not saying he can't. Yeah, he can wrestle.
I've seen him shoot some bloody good takedowns. For sure. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's going to go out there and do that, but somebody that on their resume, because Strickland, Izzy, Yuri, Jamal, all tremendous fighters, but you could say stylistically favorable matchups. But that's not his fault. That's the top 10 in the light heavyweight division currently, right? Mm-hmm. So that's not his fault at all. But for that final tick of a box, I would love to see him that somebody against somebody that has that threat. And whether or not Magomed uses that threat, that's completely down to him. Maybe he doesn't. Right. Maybe he does what Colby Covington did against Leon Edwards and just didn't feel that the takedown was there and couldn't get it set up and all the rest of it. Regardless, if he doesn't do that, that's his downfall, or maybe it's not his downfall. But I'm just saying that's the only question mark. The only question mark still remaining. And then after that, if he does do that, I mean, the question is, because this is the question that's going around, is Alex Pereira the pound for pound number one fighter in mixed martial arts? Because that's what people are saying, and I think that's a crazy one. But when I was having the conversation yesterday, they did a pretty good job of convincing me.
Is he right now?
What? That's the question I'm asking you. I'm not saying he is. I'm saying, what's your opinion, Mr. Analyst?
I've argued over and over and over that as long as John Jones is bookable and is able to be in there still.
I know. I know. Don't say it. Don't say it. Listen. It's John Jones all effing day. We know that. But forget about that, right? He hasn't fought for a while. He's fighting next month. Okay, so just get over it.
As long as he's able to fight.
Thank God you're saying this. Thank God you're saying this, because we're saying the right thing, because we're going to have jobs on Monday. You got to say John Jones.
Yeah, well, you have
They don't give a fuck what we say on here, guys.
I don't know if you guys know this. Dana doesn't watch this show. He doesn't care. He
doesn't give a shit.
Nobody at the UFC watches. I've never once had anybody we work with say, I love your guys' show last week. No one's ever said that. Great job saying that John Jones. Yeah, if you're at home watching this, you're probably the only one. That's it.
Christ.
It's John Jones. It's
got your back, Jones. Dana. I've got your back.
I got you.
Doesn't give a fuck what I say.
I'm waiting on the check. That's what people think. Yeah. They think we're getting paid to just parrot. Yeah. Whatever. Anyways, it's John Jones, and it's the longevity. It's the different generations of guys that he's fought. I'm not going to get into why it's John Jones. We've done this 100 times.
We know.
Is Pereira close? I am struggling to find someone competing right now that's doing better than him.
Let's take Jones out of it, because I think on the rankings right now, because me and you both said Jones, right? Yeah. Forget that. So we'll take currently Jones. Right now in the rankings, it's Islam Makhachev and Pereira's number 2.
See, I think that performances like Saturday probably passes Islam. I think that Islam is he's a more well-rounded fighter. Like in terms of his skill set, he has a greater, more diverse skill set than Pereira. Pereira's more active. He's fighting the next guy. He's doing it on short notice. He's doing it in tough places. Salt Lake City's not an easy place to fight. It's at altitude. It's a tough place to be. He fought Yuri on short notice. He fought Jamal Hill, who's not an easy guy to fight. Remember what we've seen Jamal do to other guys. There's always, our memory flashes back to Pereira knocking him out, but how many guys had Jamal done that to on his way to the title? Let's not forget that I love Glover, but he absolutely walked through Glover Teixeira to win the title. So, and beat a guy who's a great grappler, defended takedowns, got up from the bottom. He's a well-rounded fighter. I think that his activity and the way that he's finishing people is different.
Well, that's the key right there. It's the way that he's finishing people, and of course the strength of schedule, which is awesome. But you mentioned Jamal there. Did you see? You saw this? And again, I'm not trying to kiss Pereira's ass here, because apparently everyone thinks I dislike Pereira because I've picked against him in the past. Jamal Hill was yawning.
Yeah, I love Jamal, but there was nothing boring about that.
There was nothing boring about it.
I get Jamal though. I understand his frustration though.
But hold on. But then when Pereira was asked about it, he had the best comeback of all time. He said, "You see, Jamal was yawning." He said, "Oh yeah, maybe he just woke up from UFC 3."
That's fucked up. Fucked up. And Jamal's he's gotta know that there's like when you do things like that, you're gonna get something coming back at you for sure.
That is comedic genius right there.